But I said to the man that his wife filed for no-fault divorce, and he was in the military, and he didn't realize she was cheating on him. So she did the old "I love you, but I don't love you" routine. And when a woman says she loves you, but she doesn't love you, what she's basically saying is she's straddling the fence. She's keeping one foot in your life and another foot in the other man's life. So what she's doing by saying, "I love you, but I don't love you, and I just need a little time to figure it out," what she's trying to say is she's going to move the 2 kids in with this man and see if this man tolerates how he loves her to death by the sex she gives him when it's just him and her. But will he tolerate 2 children who are yapping every 5 seconds, and all of a sudden the sex life between him and her goes to maybe once every 2-3 weeks compared to 2-3 times a day now that the children are involved? So will this man tolerate me moving in with children? So I said, I said, she gave you this, "Oh, I love you, but I not love you, and I need some time." Yeah, well, she's running both sides. Because if this guy's like, "Look, this just isn't working for me. It's been 3 weeks. We got together once or twice in 3 weeks. You know what? It's just not the same with the kids. You know what? I'm just going to have to, why don't you just go back to your husband and we'll just keep carrying on behind his back since he's in the military, lives in another state anyway. Why don't we just keep doing the way we were? You know what? I just like my freedom, and I don't want his kids to be my kids." So it's like Susan Smith. Remember Susan Smith drowned to 2 boys because she thought the new man in her life was going to marry her and fall in love with her. But he says, "Not with those 2 boys. So I don't want any children in my life." So what did she do? She put the car in neutral, said some black guy carjacked her, and she drowned her kids in I think it was South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina. It's right around where I lived back then. It was very big news. So, like I said, when she said, "I love you, but I don't love you, and I need some time," I said to the guy, what she was doing was seeing if the new man in her life would tolerate your kids in his world. And he did. So then she went all out, and she went all in and said, "You know what, I'm divorcing you now," because she accepted that, the kids. So she went for no fault insurance. But then you found out that there was a third-party interloper between your contract and your agreement to be with this woman. So at the time of the divorce, at the time of the signing of the divorce, the filing of the paperwork, she was not a wife. She was an adulteress. And since she was an adulteress, New York state law clearly stipulates that a husband or wife must be the initiate the filing. So I said, we'll go into court and say, look, it clearly says in New York state statute that a wife or a husband must initiate this filing. Okay, you could show that by nature she's a woman, by nature you're a man. By her title she's a wife, by her title you're a husband. But she wasn't acting under the title. She was acting out of character. A wife, when you look up a wife in the dictionary, it says somebody who loves, honor, obeys, cherishes to the day you die, through sickness and health, blah, 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 blah. That's the definition of a wife. That's the definition that New York State is putting in their code, a wife. It doesn't say an adulteress could come in and file for a woman who cheats, lies, stabs her husband in the back, sleeps around with some guy, puts one foot on this side of the fence, one side on the other, jerks him around for a couple of months or a couple of years until she's sure that she's got everything lined up her way so she can stab him in the back. That's an adulteress. That is not how the New York State Code was written. It was written for a man or a woman, a husband or a wife, to separate legally from each other so they're no longer liable for each other's debts. That's how the New York State statute was created, I believe, in the hearts of the people who created it. So I started finding up case law from the 1800s saying that if there is a fraud in the agreement, that the marriage is null that way. But for a woman or a man to benefit by being an adulterer or adulteress, that's ridiculous. So because what she wanted to do after they got divorced and after they already signed the divorce, now she wanted to go back to school. Now she wants him to pay for the babysitter. So they go, whoa. When you live with her, was the agreement that you're going to work for the military, make $2,000 a week, which she makes damn good money, that she was supposed to be his 24/7 stay-at-home mom, basically forever? He says yes. And that's how she knew the agreement, and she didn't complain about it? No, she was very happy being a stay-at-home mom? Yeah, okay, great. And now she's the one who breached the agreement and came in as an adulteress, she's the one who now wants to have you support her new lifestyle, when the lifestyle that she chose was to be a 24/7, 365 to date till she dies housewife. Now, without your ability to barter and come back and forth and say, well, how about just a 23-hour-a-day housewife and a 1-hour-a-day student? No, she just took on the full role of making the decisions, and you're supposed to support them? No, not anymore, because now she's the ex, based upon fraud in the agreement. So I said, look, we're just going to say that, look, you want to start the trial back from the beginning. You want to go back to the very beginning of the filing, and you want the record to reflect now that you want to contest this divorce, and you want to say there's a third-party interloper, a new husband, new boyfriend, whatever, who intercoursed in your relationship, who entered into your contract and your agreement, and he is the one that is the cause, at both her and him, and that you should not have to support her new lifestyle. You should only just support her as a housewife. You shouldn't have to support her as, in supporting her new lifestyle. Let her new man in her life, let him support her new lifestyle. Let them work out an agreement together, because your agreement was housewife 24/7 till all eternity. So that was the answer to that one. And it's just the same thing. Like I said, you guys should have got that, because I say all the time, I was not a driver at the time of that event. I was not a driver at the time of that stop. I was not a driver at the time that the police officer intercoursed with me. I was just a man. That's the only title I'm going to accept. And the character of the man is just, I am taking my property from point A to point B. The character, the title is that of an owner of a property. I'm a man by nature who's an owner. That's my character, and that's what I'm doing. I'm transporting my property. That's what I am. So I was saying, I couldn't understand why you guys couldn't catch it like lightning, because it's just a different analogy, but it's the same thing. And you guys got to stop saying, well, wait for Cole to say, give me an exact example. No, you guys are supposed to say to yourself, wait a second, Cole says this on, I guarantee, on every freaking show. I was a man at the time of that stop, or I was a man at the time I was not a driver, or I was not a plumber, or I was not a policeman, or he was not a policeman that day. He was a thug. He can't just take out his nightstick and beat you up because you're black. He can't do that. That's a thug. That is not the definition of a policeman. Okay, he's a man 168 hours a day, a week. 40 hours a week, he's a part-time policeman, and for 10 minutes he was a thug. Okay, he was not a policeman. He was acting on the color of law, but he was not acting as the character of a policeman. You go after him as a thug, but you can't sue the policeman. So that's why I couldn't understand. Everybody should have had this freaking answer like instantly. So, oh, yeah, Carl says policeman, thug. Carl says, oh, driver, man transporting us, man moving, taking his property and pointing. Oh, yeah, adulteress and a wife. Oh, yeah, we got this.